Right, Halloween's just round the corner. 'Tis the season to be ghosty. It is the season for all the things that go bump in the night and stories to be told by the fire. Haunting, ghostly stories. And for today's episode, for today's video, I brought you to none other than Michelham Priory. Very, very haunted. Notoriously haunted. A succession of ghosts live here, they say. One ghost I will be telling you about when we go in is particularly harrowing. Let's go inside and have a look, shall we? So, what's to be said of Michelham Priory? Quite a lot, it seems. This house, priory as it was, has stood here for 800 years. It was actually run by monks at one point, hence the word priory. And the thing about these monks is they had it for a certain amount of time. But unfortunately, what happened was we had something in England called the dissolution of the monasteries, and that was when King Henry VIII had fell out with the papacy in Rome because he wasn't allowed to get divorced. They said no, you can't do that, can't have that. And so subsequently he started up his own religion, the Church of England as it became. And because of his fallout with Rome, he decided to raid and take back the properties, or the Catholic properties, that were on English soil. And in doing so, he handed them out to certain friends of his. So this place was ransacked quite badly at one point. Well, what's to be said about Michelham Priory? It seems quite a lot. It has a very sometimes dark and sometimes a happy history, but nonetheless it has a history to be proud of. It stood here for 800 years, and initially it was, as the name suggests, a priory. It was for monks, they lived here. But sometime, well actually in 1536, with the dissolution of the monasteries, a lot of the Catholic properties or papacy properties that were in England were reclaimed by the King of England, Henry VIII. And he then passed them on to friends. And he gave this to one Thomas Cromwell, who was in favour at the time. He gave him this as a gift, and Thomas Cromwell lived here not for very long, for 2 years, because by 1538, Henry VIII decided that Cromwell had fell out of favour, and he had him beheaded, he had him executed. The next in line for the house was Anne of Cleves, and Anne of Cleves got this. She was bequeathed this by Henry VIII as part of a divorce settlement. And then throughout the centuries, throughout the decades, throughout the years, it was passed down to a whole assembly of different people, different owners. And of course, some of them have left their marks here. Some of them are still said to roam it today, and possibly some are just echoes of the past. We know about certain spirits that are inside the house, but one that interests me is a female ghost, female spirit, that roams outside the house, and she's been heard on many an occasion, and she's been seen on many an occasion, walking around the actual walls of the priory, up by the gatehouse, sobbing and crying. And she has been called the Grey Lady. Apparently she's quite a terrifying spectre, and people that see her are actually struck with fear. She's also said to apparate or appear at the end of people's beds halfway through the night. She'll wake them up in the early hours, and there she is standing at the bottom of the bed, or even beside the bed, looking down on them. So she's one spirit that haunts here. But I'm going to turn you round to have a look at the house, because it's far better. That's what we're here to look at, and I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the shades that still persist in coming back here, or possibly never leaving. Right, really sorry, but the sun is out, it's blistering, it's absolutely beautiful today. It's a real autumnal day. So like I said, Thomas Cromwell was bequeathed this house, and then he was executed handed down to Anne of Cleveland also. But there are ghosts that haunt the inside as well. And there's one from about 1601, and he is Thomas Sackville. And Thomas Sackville haunts inside the building. He's an ex-owner. And he chases a maid who's called Rosie. And Rosie is said to haunt the top of the stairs behind the wooden panelling. But we'll just go in there in a bit and we'll see that. Hopefully we will see Rosie or hear her. And of course we also have Thomas's brother, Robert Sackville. He haunts here as well. And he was known as a very grumpy, tyrannical individual, as I guess a lot of people with money were at that time. And it's said that he's somebody that you wouldn't wish to meet, whether it be in the flesh or in spirit. There's a young boy who haunts the kitchen, and there's the maid in the hall. There's also a lady in Tudor clothing who endlessly walks the corridors in the hours of darkness, in the early hours of the morning, and she is often seen by staff, and she's seen by various other people. Now there are some unknown ghosts that haunt here. There are some unknown shades. One is a blue lady and one is a monk, and despite research nobody's ever been able to find out who they are. Now the thing with these spirits is that the monk is said to be walking down the stairs that is no longer there, it's no longer present in the house. It was moved at some point. And so to me that would let me know, or let me think, best guess, that wouldn't be a spirit as such, because it wouldn't be conscious. That would probably be just an echo. That would be a memory that has been ingrained into the subject matter itself, into the surroundings. And of course, it wouldn't be a haunted house without regular poltergeist activity. Many things have been heard in there, banging and cluttering, and things have been thrown. It's just an amazing old property. I can't wait to get inside and just take a look at it with you guys. Now this is my first visit here. I've never ever been here before. Many friends of mine have been on ghost hunts here, and it's somewhere that I've always wanted to go. In fact, I had the opportunity a couple of times, but unfortunately I was booked elsewhere and I just couldn't make it. So I'm going to come here today in the daylight and just scour around, and hopefully one day, like my friends, I'll be able to go in there and investigate properly. But we'll see. That's all for future. Anyway, I'm sated now. I've had a cheese scone with cheese over the top of the cheese, and that was my lunch, and now I'm going to go inside and have a look, and I had a coffee as well. Not that you needed to know that. So let's press on and have a look inside the house. So over here we have, do you know what this is, guys? This is a mounting block for horses, or getting up on horses. So as you can see, sorry, I can give you a little bit of a better view. The sun is very watery today, so it's kind of created all sorts of prisms on the lens of the camera, and it means I can't really get. Here you go. Here we are. Give you an all-round view of this place. It's absolutely stunning, beautiful. Should we venture inside? Oh wow, look at this vaulted ceiling. Chest. So of course when this was constructed it was very much nearer the road than it is today. But initially, so as you can see, what we have here is a model of Michelham Priory, probably its heyday. It's actually got the biggest medieval moat of any building anywhere, and the oldest. But the beauty of this, as you can see, the model is kind of stranded on an island, and to get to it now, you can go down some small little country lanes that will take you basically to the Priory itself. But during the day, in the day, it was right on the road. So traffic used to pass it permanently on a permanent basis. So it wasn't as secluded as it is today. You can stop that, guys, if you just want to look at it. So this is the staircase. This is a haunted staircase. And Rose was up there behind the panelling somewhere, apparently. Just stunning. So the order of monks that initially worked here or worked from this, whose monastery or priory it was, were Augustines. They were an order of Augustine monks. And I often wonder, there's been one monk seen here, but I wonder if there's been more than one. I wonder if some of these unclaimed ghosts that maybe people can hear or feel but not see are the spirits of those monks. It's amazing to think that the history and the heritage that this house holds and these walls, imagine all of the stories that they've absorbed into them over time. Scenarios played out in this property. It makes the mind boggle, it really does. It's a real honour to be here, particularly for someone like me, ghost hunter. It's just gorgeous. Some Tudor clothing. John Rivers, 1648. So the wing that we're in now is actually the Tudor wing, it's the Tudor dining hall. And this was built between 1587 and 1601. This would have been the banqueting, clearly the banqueting hall, dining hall. And party room, I would imagine, because they used to like to party in those days. So this is the kitchen. This is where the male ghost of the spirit of the boy is often seen. He's here now. So what do you think of this haunted house, Willow?
It's alright.
All right.
It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an under description. I know, it's beautiful. Think of the history that went on here, Willow. Think of the stories that played out here. Skullduggery, brothers and sisters fighting to the death. Ah, I see. Don't worry, guys. Apparently, they told me they're allowed to touch the items. We've checked it out. Apparently, they're allowed to. What do you reckon, Hazel? Cool or not just cool? Talk about you lot are masters of the understatement. Nice. Just noticed something over here. Seems to be etchings. Can't really make them out. Maybe they're just scars from hundreds of years of use, but there seems to be some sort of form of etching. Fletcher Bacon there. Oh, so that's the Costrel, is it? How cool is this place? Do you? I don't think I'd like anything you've made. Hazel educated herself over there.
Use add some eggs to our
Sorry.
Did you get it? Oh, excuse me.
Kids, I'm not the kids.
That's my recipe. Done.
You see, Land Army or Land Girls uniform. Wartime pinny. Yoke. Little made joke. You do look like a Victorian cook.
Morning.
Morning. Morning, ma'am.
I would have been up a chimney.
You look like you should be up a chimney. Yeah, I've got a chimney you can go up.
What?
I've got a chimney you can go up if you want.
I want to go up a chimney.
And some canned tomatoes.
Nice. I meant to say that there's a reason that there's some wartime paraphernalia there, because during the World War II, this was a home to lots of evacuees. They came out here to get away from the Blitz, to get away from the bombing, and this was a safe haven for them. Whether they saw it that way, I don't know. Stripped from their parents, who really knows? But it was the better of a bad option. And who knows, it may have been a wonderful place to spend the war. Or at least until the bombing died down a bit and then they were sent back or called back by their parents. But during that period as well, there was also Canadian soldiers that were billeted here. So I wonder if any of those children or any of those soldiers have tales to do. Did they take tales back home with them of things that they'd seen or heard, ghostly things that they may have experienced? Be interesting, because at the time I guess that people wouldn't have discussed that type of thing, whereas today they're more free and open with it. But it would be interesting to talk to some of those residents, those old residents, and see if they'd experienced anything here. May have been a wealth of knowledge or a wealth of stories about activity that went on here that's just been fading through the years because people were too embarrassed, I guess, to mention it. But not so much today, which I'm glad about. So if anything happens today, bet your bottom dollar it's listed. I really must either book onto a ghost hunt that's going to be continued or carried out here, or try and organise one myself. Either way, I'm determined to get in here to be a member of a ghost hunt. We'll see. Keep you posted. Might need people to block spaces. Just notice that tiny chair. How cute is that? Like that massive ingle nook. Yes, please.
Now? Only one lady has actually told me she's seen a ghost here. I was speaking to her downstairs. She went upstairs to the room at the end, and then she come back down and she said, when she got to the doorway, she looked across and we had just an ordinary, like an old dining chair there for visitors to sit on. And she said there was a lady sitting there, all in costume. Then she was gone.
Oh, wow.
But she's the only person that's told me to have actually seen something. Lots of people tell me they feel things. Mainly, it's in that passageway.
By the stairwell?
At the bottom here,
right,
yes.
Okay.
And up in the fires room is another room that lots of people feel it.
Okay.
But I've never felt it. I think there's nothing to be scared of with ghosts. They
No,
don't hurt you.
Absolutely.
So I've been told you've got to welcome them. And a lady told me what to say. I did once, welcomed them and everything.
It's probably why they left you alone. You're courteous.
Well, if there are ghosts, I would like to see them or feel them or hear them.
Yeah.
But we do get bats come in here and huge spiders. Oh God! Sort of fortnight ago, nasty. I've never seen such big spiders. But you know, and you think beetles and bugs and all these things make a noise.
Yes.
The radiators, such as they are, make a lot of noise, getting warmer and colder. So I just think everything is a practical.
Yeah,
So
I think
I actually
you're right.
need it to come and tap me on the shoulder.
I think you're right.
to
I think that 99% of the people's experiences are probably put down to things like an overactive imagination or something that happens that they can't.
And cold
they can't-
drafts.
Exactly. In a building like this.
It's a very drafty place.
Exactly. But you know, I know there's meant to be several spirits that haunt this. The stairwell in particular, there's a girl that's meant to haunt behind the panelling up the stairwell called Rosie.
Yes,
And she was-
some other people just been telling me about that.
Have they really? Yeah, she's chased by a
yeah.
man that used to be an owner of the place.
Yes. I don't know.
No.
I've not seen
It's
it.
intriguing. It's very intriguing.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's 800 years old, isn't it? So you would imagine there'd been a lot more activity. But then there is. Lots of people say there is a lot of activity here,
Yeah.
even to the point of sort of poltergeists. Hello.
It's down in the office, do you know?
Sorry?
It's down in the office.
That's right, yeah.
No,
Yeah, about the child. Sorry, you were saying.
I was here one day talking to a mother and daughter, and I'm always wary talking to children
Yeah.
about ghosts because
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to frighten them.
Yeah.
But this daughter, she was what, 10ish, 11, that sort of age, and she was talking about the ghosts. And I looked at her mum, and the mum said, "Oh yes, no, she's very susceptible to all these things."
Oh, really?
And her daughter was saying that she could actually feel something there and then in the fireplace there.
Really? Because I know there's meant to be a young lad, the spirit of a young lad that frequents the kitchen, or so it's said.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I'm never sure about
No.
all these stories.
No, I think the only way that you're going to be sure is if you experience it for yourself.
Yes.
When people come to me and they say, I don't believe in ghosts, and I say, well, have you seen anything, experienced anything? And they say, no. I say, well, keep it like that then.
Yes.
You know?
I'm welcoming these experiences. I want them.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
But I haven't had them yet.
To think that you could stretch across the centuries and communicate with somebody would be amazing.
Yes. From 1229, people have always
Absolutely.
lived here and still live here.
Absolutely.
So there's obviously been a lot of, well, there's been births here. There's been obviously lots of deaths, I should imagine, over
Yeah,
that time.
definitely.
The cannons, for instance.
Imagine the history that would have been kept, that this place would have seen through the centuries.
Yeah.
Happiness, sadness, fear,
But that always
everything.
used to be it. People were born in their houses and died in their
Exactly.
houses, didn't they?
Exactly.
It's
So.
only more recent times you go off to hospital to be born.
Yeah, it was never heard of it back in the day, was it? I mean, even recently, it's pretty sort of a new thing, isn't it? Birth in a hospital, you know, in the last half a century or so. But prior to that, people had home births, didn't they?
I was born in my grandmother's house.
I was born in our house, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You
But
know.
I'll go and see if Dan is.
No, that's great. Thank you
and
ever so
he can
much.
Come and, yes.
Thank you. And your name is?
I'm Janet.
Thank you, Janet. You've
I'm
been
here
you're
every
a
Wednesday
star.
morning.
Thank
No,
you.
not at all.
So this is a lady to come and see if you want information or a nice chat about the house. Thank you, Janet. Thank you.
I'll go and see.
Thank you. Well, there you go. That was a lovely little interview with Janet there, and some information that would have gone by without asking. So thank you. Let's go upstairs. Oh, hang on. Oh, let's go up these stairs. The haunted stairs. So I'm guessing this is the panelling at the top of the stairs that Susie hid behind. Would be here, I guess. fireplace. Amazing, isn't it? Just beautiful. So this is the haunted stairwell. Creepy.
That's Jeremy.
Jeremy. Is that Jeremy?
Gonna leave him to decay.
Oh, this is really set up. That's charming.
What's that score? I'll see that. 45.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, but we've got the high score.
Oh, look at the pot under.
1930.
It's alright. Look at the pot under the
1940.
bed. I remember my grandma. Look, can you see the pots under the bed? What's
Hey,
that?
Daddy.
What's that?
Hope you are alright. And I hope you got my last letter.
Pots there.
What have I scored?
Almost had some letters from you.
40.
And thank you for your letters to me. I have got a real schoolgirl's hat made of felt with a trim that turns up. Oh, bless. So these quarters up here are obviously where the evacuees were kept, or they've done it out like the evacuees was kept up here. Willow's got the teddy, which she's found and fell in love with. Now she wants me to get her one. A photo, I guess, of the evacuees in here during the war, obviously.
I don't know what to do.
Tank tops, gas mask. Amazing. No access. Thomas Cromwell, Henry VIII. Friend and enemies, or frenemies. I wonder if either of those, well, I wonder if he still haunts here. It's beautiful, look at that. The Victorian dress. So those patterns were used for keeping your feet out of low with long dresses. Used for keeping their hems out of the mud. Goes on and on this house. So impressed. So impressed with it. Got the Gregorian chanting coming through, if you can hear it. A nod to its past. Well, I must admit, what an amazing adventure today has been. Never anticipated coming here today. This was kind of something that I found as a fluke at the last minute. I didn't realise how close it was to where we were staying, so make the most of it. But what a great adventure for the Halloween season to be here at Michelham Priory this ghost-soaked house, this haunted property, with all its history and all its stories and tales that it could tell. I'm just really excited that I've been here. It's been great being here with the family. We picked up some information from one of the guides, a lovely lady called Janet, as you've seen. And I really can't wait to get back, so much so that I've been inquiring about the hire of it for an actual ghost hunt. See, I told you by hell or by high water that I'll find a way in. And the guy's given me a list of ghost hunts that are going to be going forward here, and he's going to send me prices as well. So yeah, so it's something that I would love to do. And it's only a sort of a couple of hours drive from where I live, so it's nothing. But yeah, been an absolutely fantastic afternoon. Really, really excited about this one, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I'll speak to you in the next one. Hopefully the next one will have just as wide a scope or as big a plethora as ghosts as this one has. But imagine all the hauntings and that have gone on here over the years. Unbelievable. Imagine those lives that have been lived out in that building behind me. Just amazing. Love it here. Can't wait to come back. Take it easy, guys, and happy hunting. Happy Halloween. Ooh.